You know, I hear a lot of anti-gun arguments, and that's why I made the Disarming Anti-Gun Argument Project. But today, with hashtag disarm hate going along with no fly, no buy, has to be some of the craziest, pernicious arguments I've ever heard before. In no time have people wholly been willing to get rid of the Second Amendment in any way possible, that they would get rid of their right to due process, in so violating the 4th and 14th Amendment. That's what we're talking about today on Disarming Anti-Gun Arguments.
So what's the problem with hashtag disarm hate and no fly, no buy? Well, it's not so much that it's against the Second Amendment, it's because it's against the 14th and the 4th Amendment. They would remove your due process rights. It would fight and destroy your due process rights. It's one thing to use the no-fly list to ban someone from a privilege of flight, of private flight. It's another thing to use these lists to remove an inalienable right, like the Second Amendment. As defined, and this comes from Wikipedia, the 4th and 14th Amendment safeguard from arbitrary denial of life, liberty, or property by the government outside the sanction of law. This due process goes back to the Magna Carta, which protected the people from the monarchs. So what this is basically doing is it's setting up a set of processes, the actual steps that need to occur before you're taken either your life, your property, or your rights, in this case the Second Amendment. And they are as follows. There must be an unbiased tribunal, basically a group either based off of a judge or a jury of your peers like we do today. 2, notice of proposed action and the grounds for it. So you are found, they're taking you to court for something you've done wrong to the state, or taking you to court for some civil altercation you had. How's that different from the no-fly list? You're never informed if you're on the no-fly list or not. You're just put on it, and you don't find out until you try and fly. 3, opportunity to present reasons why the proposed action should not be taken. No option is given to you for the no-fly list. You are put on it largely for reasons that are unknown. And that goes back to step 2. You're never provided the reason why you're put on the no-fly list. 4, the right to preserve evidence, including the right to call witnesses. Again, no option is ever provided to you on the no-fly list. You are just subjected to what Homeland Security thinks is a good measure to protect the safety that they can't really prove, whether it's good or bad, of the people that are flying on airlines. 5, the right to know opposing evidence. Again, nothing provided to you on a no-fly list. You are put on it, and that's it. Again, this should be looked at as not just a Second Amendment issue, but a First Amendment issue and every other right in which someone looks at you the wrong way, decides they don't like your race, your color, your creed, your background, what you like to do for your hobbies. Look at my videos. I could end up on a no-fly list based off of arbitrary guidelines that aren't defined or provided by Homeland Security. 6, the right to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Again, I sound like a broken record, but I need to explain. These are the standard processes by which we look at due process. These are the processes, the normal day-to-day business processes that we go through. They don't allow that with the no-fly list. You're just put on it, and that's it. The decision based exclusively on evidence presented. You have to be found guilty, right, before your rights are taken away. In this case, people are put on the no-fly list because they go to websites that Homeland Security has deemed they don't like. And that's just one example of how you get on there. Ted Kennedy, senator who has since passed, he was put on the list because someone shared the same name as him, and he's a senator. Think about it like that. 8, opportunity to be represented by counsel. No option. 9, require that the tribunal prepare a record of the evidence presented. No record. 10, requirement that the tribunal prepare written findings of the fact and reasons for its decisions. Again, you only find out about this after the fact. None of the above is performed by Homeland Security or the TSA. They offer no guidelines, tribunal, evidence, witnesses, or road to appeal. You literally have to know someone or have someone in your network of people to get brought out of the no-fly list. I believe that the cases of somebody getting out successfully had to go to a charitable event in which they talked to a representative who ended up getting them off of the no-fly list. Guys, it's pretty clear. Homeland Security is not producing guidelines how you get on the list, and it doesn't provide clear steps to appeal you being on the list. There is no way I would subject any of our basic human rights to this wishy-washy, full of gray area road that Homeland Security is riding on. So please understand, if you support hashtag disarm hate or the no-fly, no-buy list, you're just perpetuating the loss of more rights. You want to spite your nose so badly, the Second Amendment, that you're willing to hate on your whole face to do so. The rest of your rights, it's not worth giving up your 4th or 14th Amendment right just to spite the Second Amendment. Because what ultimately happens here, and the slippery slope is an easily provable thing, you go from one day, we're putting people on the list that support ISIS, to people who make YouTube channels such as me. I'm a completely safe and law-abiding citizen. I follow all the laws when it comes to guns. But please understand that these criminals, these people who are so intent to die for their cause, are just going to steal, kill, murder, and do whatever it takes to get the guns they want. And as we saw in San Bernardino, they'll just do a straw purchase. As we've seen in other places, they just murder. Or they buy them legally through a background check system that doesn't work, or they lie outright. There's so many ways that they get guns. This is not going to stop them particularly. And anything that people tell you it is going to stop, they're lying to you to get your votes or to take away guns from law-abiding citizens such as myself. So please, don't support these hashtags. Don't support any of this. Thank you very much for watching. If this was helpful or interesting to you, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll see more videos just like this one. Thanks again. We've come to the end of the video, and this is what we call a trailer. It's where I ask you, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see my day-to-day vlogs, hit subscribe. And if you want, I've got a whole playlist with over 700 videos just talking about stuff that you just watched. So if you enjoy all of that, go check that out too. I really appreciate you coming. Comment below. I engage with everybody, and thanks a lot.